The CEO of a major tech firm overhears a janitor fluently speaking Mandarin, French, and German to clients in the lobby. Shocked, he watches the man return to mopping like nothing happened. Who is this janitor? And why is a linguistic genius cleaning floors in silence? What happens next stuns everyone. Marcus Hale, the 42-year-old CEO of Orion Tech, wasn't easily impressed. He'd built his billion-dollar company from a cramped basement to a towering glass headquarters in under a decade. He was known for spotting talent, ruthlessly, precisely. So when he overheard the janitor speaking fluent French, German, and Mandarin with the company's European delegates, his instincts went on high alert. He watched from the side of the lobby, stunned. The janitor, slim, gray-haired, in his late 50s, wore a faded uniform, name tag reading Lewis. He smiled humbly, shook hands with the visitors, and returned to cleaning the marble floor, as if the moment had meant nothing. But Marcus couldn't forget it. Later that day in the executive lounge, Marcus asked around, "Anyone know the janitor downstairs, Lewis?" Blank stares. "I think he's been around a while," said one assistant. "He's quiet, never causes issues." Marcus narrowed his eyes. "No HR file worth noting?" "Just standard. Maintenance contract, lives alone, shows up early, leaves late." That night, curiosity turned into obsession. Marcus reviewed the building's security footage. Day after day, Lewis arrived before dawn, cleaned every floor to perfection, and left without a word. No one noticed him. No one cared to. But in the early mornings and late nights, Marcus noticed something odd. Lewis reading thick foreign language novels in the break room, writing symbols, Arabic, Cyrillic, kanji on napkins while sipping plain tea. Why is this man cleaning toilets when he clearly belongs in an embassy, Marcus thought. The next morning, Marcus did something he'd never done before. He took the elevator down to the basement. He found Lewis restocking supplies. "Morning," Marcus said. Lewis turned, surprised. "Good morning, sir. I saw you speaking to the international delegates yesterday. Very impressive. How many languages do you speak?" Lewis blinked. "9," he replied softly. Marcus smiled. "And yet you're working as a janitor." Lewis looked down. "It pays the bills. I don't complain." That answer hit Marcus harder than expected. A man with the intelligence of a diplomat, the humility of a monk, cleaning floors? There was something hidden here, and Marcus was going to uncover it, no matter what. Marcus Hale wasn't known for small talk, but something about Lewis unsettled and intrigued him. The janitor's humility didn't match his brilliance. So Marcus invited him for coffee. Reluctantly, Lewis accepted, but only after his shift ended, long after everyone else had gone home. They met in a quiet corner of the 42nd floor lounge. The skyline glittered behind them, but Marcus only saw the man across the table. Stoic, worn, and far too brilliant to be invisible. "Why are you here, Lewis? Really?" Lewis took a long sip of tea. "Because sometimes a quiet life is the only safe one." "What do you mean?" He paused, then set down his cup. "I wasn't always a janitor. I used to be a professor, linguistics, at a university overseas. My students came from around the world. Life was good, simple, fulfilling, until one of my papers caught the wrong attention." "Wrong attention?" He nodded slowly. "I exposed a covert government surveillance network that used language data to profile citizens. I didn't mean to start anything political, but the article went viral. I received threats. Then I lost my job. My visa was revoked. I came to the US with nothing." Marcus leaned in, stunned. "So you went from academia to janitorial work just to survive?" Lewis nodded. "Work is work. I don't need a title to feel valuable. I get to read, learn, and live in peace. That's more than most. But you speak 9 languages and you're cleaning floors. Lewis smiled faintly. I've cleaned floors in 6 of those languages. For a moment, Marcus didn't know what to say. Lewis continued, sometimes it's easier to be invisible. People leave you alone. No one expects anything from a janitor. But Marcus saw it differently. This was a man who had hidden himself not because he was weak, but because the world couldn't handle his strength. Still, Marcus couldn't shake a feeling that this man's talents were too great to remain hidden. Lewis gathered his things to leave, but paused. I've been in this building for 5 years. No one ever asked me what I used to be. Until now.
The next morning, the entire office buzzed with confusion. A company-wide email had gone out from the CEO himself. Mandatory attendance, 10 a.m. in the main auditorium. You won't want to miss this. No one knew what it was about. Some expected a product launch. Others feared layoffs. But when the curtain lifted, there was no new product, no tech presentation, just a humble janitor, Luis, standing beside Marcus Hale. The room went silent. Marcus took the podium. I'd like to introduce someone most of you never really saw, he said. Luis has cleaned this building longer than some of you have worked here. But yesterday, I heard him speak fluently 3 languages to our international clients, languages most of us couldn't even identify. Murmurs rippled through the audience. Turns out, Marcus continued, Luis speaks 9 languages, holds a doctorate in linguistics, and was once a renowned professor. He didn't tell anyone, he didn't ask for praise, but he's one of the most brilliant minds I've ever met. People looked around, stunned. Luis looked overwhelmed but calm. Then, at Marcus's encouragement, he stepped forward and gave a short speech in 9 different languages, seamlessly transitioning from one to the next: French, Mandarin, Arabic, Russian, Swahili, German, Hindi, Spanish, English. By the time he ended, the room had erupted in applause. Several employees stood. A few wiped away tears. Marcus smiled. Starting today, Luis is no longer a janitor. He's our new director of global communications and language strategy. Gasps. Luis tried to object, but Marcus raised a hand. Your story matters, and the world should hear it. You hid your light for too long. It's time to let it shine. That week, media outlets across the country picked up the story. CEO promotes janitor after discovering he speaks 9 languages. But for the employees of Orion Tech, it wasn't just a viral headline. It was a lesson in humility, brilliance, and how easily we overlook the people right in front of us. Luis became a mentor, trainer, and advisor to every department. But he never changed his quiet nature. He still brewed the same tea, still arrived early. Only now, people saw him. Months later, Luis sat in a sleek office on the top floor of Orion Tech, surrounded by books in multiple languages, cultural maps, and language software tools he'd helped design. He no longer wore a janitor's uniform, but he still arrived at work before everyone else, quietly brewing tea and opening the windows to let in the morning light. What had changed wasn't Luis, it was how people treated him. Executives now paused to greet him with respect. Interns often came to him with questions about world languages, cultures, even life. His humble presence, once ignored, had become a source of inspiration, but the man himself remained modest. I didn't need a title to feel valuable, he once told a reporter, but now that I have one, I'm going to use it to open doors for people like me. Marcus Hale, the CEO, often quoted Luis in meetings. You never know who's in the room. Genius doesn't always wear a suit. It became a quiet motto across the company. Under Luis's guidance, Orion Tech launched a multilingual AI project that opened markets in over 20 countries. Luis didn't just help translate words, he helped translate understanding. And it all happened because one man decided to listen, to see beyond the uniform. But perhaps the most powerful moment came on Employee Appreciation Day. Luis was asked to give the keynote. He stood before hundreds of staff, smiling gently. I spent years choosing silence because the world made me believe it was safer. But the truth is, we're all more than what people see on the surface. Sometimes the janitor is a professor. Sometimes the quietest one in the room holds the loudest truth. The crowd rose to their feet. And that's the story that left everyone in the office stunned, not just by what Luis knew, but how close they came to never knowing it. Never underestimate someone based on their job, appearance, or silence. Hidden among us are people with untold gifts, genius waiting to be seen. Sometimes it just takes one person willing to ask a simple question and listen to the answer with an open mind.